must repeal these vigilante self-defense laws, which gives people the freedom they feel to kill and destroy and not talk. We must revive these stand your ground laws. We must revive the ban on assault weapons and on concealing weapons. I mean, you know how insane it is to have the right to conceal a weapon in church, or in a school, or in a public park, where you basically, when somebody stepped on your foot or insulted you, or you felt threatened by them, you felt you had the right to shoot them. That is a kind of madness that must stop. We are right now the most violent nation on earth. We kill the most people. We kill the most of each other. We lost fewer than 6,000 soldiers in Iraq in 10 years. We lose about 30,000 Americans a year, 30,000 at home to gunfire.
Wow.
100,000 are injured who don't die. We've lost 1 million Americans, 1 million since Dr. King was killed in 1968. And so we must have a commitment to end the rise of violence and violent weapons. For you who are listening today, we lose so many people to jail unnecessarily because we're not jurors, we're not grand jurors, and only people registered to vote can do that. So too many people have the right to vote and not using it. That's a lever. Our votes are marching feet. The reason why I think they move so fast in Tucson was because of what happened in Sanford. They're not well, this city to be as Sanford was, the object of so many demonstrations. Use their powers to profile us. And this whole scheme, the banks have been sued. They found them targeting black homes and Latino homes, steering and clustering. So bank profiling, healthcare, we don't live as long. High mortality rate, short life expectancy, that's profiling. School suspensions, and that's profiling. Blacks in the state are 7% of the population, 15% unemployed, 7% of the population, 35% of those in jail are black, which means that somewhere between police and prosecutors and judges, that's profiling there as well. So we have our work to do. We can't just shrug our shoulders or knock and we surrender. We have to fight back. We want to organize a strong Rainbow Bush Coalition. I was chairman with Pastor Scott today. We're trying to get at least 200 members to start to revive our own Wall Street consciousness. I must understand, all these years, there's not been an apology for the killing 200 people and burning up Wall Street. Not among so many Christians, you know, who don't have a sure sense of contrition. Not only they burned up Wall Street, they've now overtaken the land from Wall Street. And now here, so when we have businesses, we're burning up, and Wall Streets we're shot up, and that must end. This idea about reviving the ban on assault weapons, why does one need an M16 and an AK-47 except to kill people? You don't hunt rabbit or deer, you only kill people with them. Are prepared to do so. The stand your ground laws, the concealed weapons, the gun checks. We must renew. There's too much violence, and there's too much war. There's too much concentrated wealth and too much poverty. 600,000 in this state are below the poverty level. 600,000. 600,000 are on food stamps. A lot of poor people, and most poor people are not black. They're white, they're female, they're young, and 12 white ministers are much too silent about it. We challenge the white church to get involved in this because this is not just a matter of what will blacks do about getting shot. What will whites do because we have been shot. Right. And we've been shot down by a gun, shot down by a banker. We've been shot in so many ways every day. And this is a great moment for Tulsa to come together on an agenda that lends itself to justice. Grad school at the time, and I was nearing finishing my degree, and Dr. King asked me to join his staff and become his a field director. And I'm glad I did. I was reluctant to do it because I wanted to finish getting my seminary degree at the time. And my wife said to me that work with Dr. King could be a rare jewel of a moment. I'm glad that she made that recommendation. I finished seminary later. Right. But working with him, he said, well, you learn more theology from me in 6 months than you learn in school in 6 years. I said, good for you to say you have your PhD. But it was the right thing to do. But in some sense, I was blessed by God to go to jail July 16, 1960, trying to use a public library. Humiliated by the fact we had to pay taxes, but we couldn't vote. My father was a World War II vet, but did not have the right to sit in front of lots of POWs on American military bases. how humiliating that was. But there's some other issues in this state that we must deal with right now. You're 7% of the population. You must have your share of contracts, your share of jobs, your share of bank loans. Now look at University of Oklahoma play football. Oklahoma State of Tulsa, with 6 and 7% of the teams, with big numbers playing ball,
Right.
but not so big numbers at graduation time. We must use that leverage too. I mean, why can't you say University of Oklahoma, we want our share of contracts, our share of jobs, or you will not get your share of athletes? We have leverage, and we must use that leverage to demand jobs and justice. I mean, those things are filled up because we generate that money.
Mm-hmm.
And we mostly know Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Sooners, the Oklahoma State, the Tulsa football, basketball teams. And so those are our children. They come from the same broken home, but somehow they can make it. And often they argue they can make it because the playing field is even. And that's what we want. We want beyond the ball field, an even playing field. Plus, when our kids are graduating, not just play ball and entertain. We want them to be educated. And they leave there, they should have skills. We have lost since 1976, 295,000 blacks have killed each other.
Wow.
250,000 black men. Those numbers bigger than many, many wars. That madness must end. No one, I often say if a black kills a white, it's jail time and no bond. The white kills a black, it's revolt time. Black kills black, it's murder time.
Yeah.
Black kills white. We've adjusted to killing. We must stop the adjustment. Blacks must not be the weak link in the justice chain. We must not be the weak link in the justice chain. You look at the Trayvon Martin case. It starts with a suspension, an unnecessary suspension. Kids have been thrown away by the thousands of days out of school, and you get 10 days behind in physics.
That's it.
Or math. You can't catch up.
Right.
You go then from suspension to expulsion to truancy, the streets, the gangs, the drugs, to jail, death. That's the beginning of the end. And so we must take a renewed look at how many black kids were suspended from school in Tulsa that last year. We need to know. It's public information. We need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Because once we know, and you should know the truth, and truth will set you on the path to getting free. But we need to know how many kids were suspended, how many graduated, and what happened. We have become much too lax on collecting data. And how many contracts, the city of Tulsa, how many blacks in this city, how many without sham contracts? How many companies that you take this broadcast companies that we support, do they support the station? Companies that don't support the station, you should support that company. Trade should be mutual. It should be two-way trade. Those companies that don't support the station should not support them. And those companies don't support our community, you can't just have one-way trade. We buy, they sell. They make money, we beg. No, we can change that. We have the power in this city to get this station with better advertising. Right. The same is true with our black newspaper. Mm-hmm. The same is true with black institutions. If we use that power, we can make things happen here. So the blessing behind this tragedy is we can turn tragedy to triumph.
But one of the things that I shared is that I would hope that as all segments of our city have come together in this tragedy, to really build our city in equality for all, we need to come together and demonstrate that same Tulsa spirit when there's not a tragedy and when there are initiatives and other things that we need to bring about.
With a business, a leadership luncheon on Friday at First Baptist, it was a serious luncheon. It was not hors d'oeuvres. It was a serious luncheon. You understand? Like serious?
Yeah, like my grandma used to say,
like Miss Henderson's pound cake, like that kind of serious.
That pound cake was awesome.
Serious pound cake.
That was awesome.
Diet buster. I had to go back to Chicago yesterday because there's so many killings there, so much pain. And the Rainbow Bush Convention, July 11th through 14th in Chicago. You're going to hear more about it. We're on a strong Tulsa delegation in Chicago for that convention. Come back home and see your parents and your friends.
Yes.
And then we came back last night for a big rally. Just a great rally last night. It was good to see people so receptive and hopeful. The mayor was there, and Brother Henderson was there, and ministers were there. But I'm one of those who are listening to that. Many people are listening right now who are not registered to vote. And if you're not registered to vote, you don't have the right to complain. It's the right to lose. Vote for what? Vote for Medicare. vote for Medicaid, vote for Social Security, vote for equality, vote for equal protection under the law. If you don't vote, you lose the right to complain. When we do vote, we win. And you have a guy like Henderson, he is one guy fighting 8 guys and holding his own. One man fighting 8 men. But the good news is if this room were totally dark and you lit one candle, it would challenge all the darkness. Because that's the power of light. And Henderson in that city council, he is the power of that light. So in this thing, I was sharing as we talked with Bishop, we talked with Brother Scott and other ministers. You have a leverage here that has not been properly used for advancement. One is that these people who are so unkind to us, they recruit our children to play football for them, play basketball for them. And we've gone from picking cotton balls to picking footballs, picking basketballs. And the amazing thing is the school makes millions of dollars. If our kids get caught selling a jersey, they're kicked out of school. In slavery time, everybody could make money except the one picking cotton. And these big sports, everybody can make money except the ones who are making the sport happen.
Yeah.
But if a school is not going to be frank in giving us scholarships beyond athletics, if they're not going to have a commitment to graduating our kids, I should have conscience. We should discourage kids from going to that school to play ball. That's leverage. So exciting. Those kids, I mean, it's just such a great principle at Carver Middle School. But to see those kids in their formative years learning how to live together. The multiracial school, right? Black and white, Latino and Asian children. And at the end of the day, that's where the civility will come from, teaching children to live together in their formative years. So long as these walls up, behind walls are fear, ignorance, violence, and hatred.
With Reverend Jackson to try to get certainly the movement started here in the state of Oklahoma, and it's going to be coming about really rapidly, and we just want the community to support us. We certainly can do some great things here in the state of Oklahoma, the city of Tulsa. They can call First Baptist Church North Tulsa at 582-5129, and we'll certainly be ready to give them the information they need in order to become a part of this movement that has been in existence for some time, but will now have some roots here in the city of Tulsa.
Beyond the crucifixion, that is the resurrection. Well, now the crucifixion is over, but there's a resurrected spirit of hope, a will to fight back. And that is the good news. The good news is in the resurrection. Pain is on Good Friday. But the good news is Sunday morning. And if that is people coming alive again, believing again, hoping again, fighting again, voting again, that's the good news. That means that their dying was not in vain. Out of the Emmett Till crisis, we changed our mind about being afraid in Deep South Mississippi. Out of Medgar Evers' death, we changed our mind. Out of Dr. King's death, we went to another level. So long as we are able to turn a minus into a plus, then let God's will be done.